Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome again to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day and looking forward to our little session together and always looking forward to our romper room roll call, as some call it. And Kevin, guess what? You're number one on the hit parade this morning. Rosalinda, Niagara Falls, and Francis Marie. 1, 2, 3. Brahim, number 4 from Portland, Oregon. Andrea, Niagara Falls. John, Elgin, Illinois. Karen from Kincardine. Good morning to you guys. Annette, Nouveau-Brunswick. Jody, good morning. Wendy from Markham. Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Sandra from Aurelia. Gloria, good morning. Donna, Bell Valley, Ontario. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Vera, Newfoundland. We were waiting for Newfoundland to come on. And a good morning, Waterloo. Chantal, Espanola. Jeanette, from our staff. Gloria, good morning. Fran, Orangeville. Julie, Bowmanville. Evelyn, and Lori and Ryan. There they are. Sarasota, good morning. And Grace, Tina, Nova Scotia. Yolande, bonjour. Zian from Ottawa. Deb from Kamloops, British Columbia. And Crystal, Alston, Pat, Jermaine, hello. And Vicky, Wheatley, all of them. Timmins, never heard of Timmins. Where is that? Linda, Rosemary, Moncton, New Brunswick, Maryland, Kelowna, and Jen from Cape Breton. Mary, good morning. Couple more. Judy, how are you? Nouveau-Brunswick. And Jeanette, Mara, and Etta, and another Karen from Otter Lake. Jean, good morning. Thanks for coming on, guys. Lynn and Lisa Marie, good morning. Suzanne, good morning. Okay, Gary Bolton, and another Wendy from London, good morning. Donna, Park Hill. Okay. Lynn, Edith. Okay. And Marlo, Ottawa. Carol. Well, that scroll is, we appreciate it. And I hate to miss out on anybody, but we got to get going. Marcy, Linda, Cecilia, Cochrane, Bruno, North Bay. Okay. Now, a new study just came out, and from the CDC, okay, a new statement. It's incredible. It's terrible. Okay, in 2023, the brand new study from CDC, the Center for Disease Control, and I believe their headquarters is still in Atlanta, Georgia. CDC says in 2023, autism, 1 out of 36 births in the United States. 1 out of 36, autistic. Boys alone, it's 1 out of 23. Average between boys and girls, it's 1 in 36. Okay? Now, again, let's talk. When I was in school, okay, in the days of Noah, there was no autism. I've told you this before. The first time, I believe it was 1979, I was in a board meeting in Tirana, And this guy, a colleague of mine, told me about his two boys, and they were autistic. And honestly, I didn't know what he was talking about. He had two boys that were autistic. And he was telling me about it, and I mean, autistic, what's that mean? That was in the late 70s, guys. Okay? That was in the late 1970s. It was so rare, I didn't even study it. I didn't know anything about it. But I'll never forget that conversation. And here we are today in 2023, and 1 out of every 36 births is autistic. Now, you guys, again, know me. You guys hear me. What do? How do I figure out stuff? Okay? Well, here's what I do. When something was rare and almost unheard of in the 1970s, even in the 1980s, when it was unheard of, and it is like an epidemic today, well, here's the way I operate. Here's the way my brain operates. What changed? What changed? Why? That's me. I ask the question, why? Can't be genetics, right? What is it? What's changed? Okay? Now, I'm going to make a generalized statement. And I think there's no exceptions to it. I've said this from the beginning. Okay? Autism is leaky gut, leaky brain. It really is some form of autoimmune. Leaky gut, leaky brain. Okay? Now, let me show you by example, okay? Show you how my brain operates. I like visuals, you guys know that. I'm showing you, again, for those listening to this on a podcast, a shag carpet. Okay? Is there any such thing now today as a shag carpet? Okay? But that's what your small intestine looks like. A shag carpet. Or at least that's what it should look like. A 1970 shag carpet. Okay? They went by the wayside with bell bottoms. Who has a shag carpet today? Okay? Anyway, but see these? And what are they called? You guys should know this. What are these shags called in your small intestine? Okay? Your small intestine is where your food gets absorbed. Your nutrients are absorbed in your small intestine. It's not that small. It's actually very wide. Teresa, villi. Yeah, it's called your villi. Okay? Yeah. Okay, you guys are so stinking smart. And Rosa, yeah, endothelial. That's your little, epithelial is your little lining, that one single cell lining that's inside here. Very, very microscopic, okay? What is it? Villi. Okay, now, what happens We're going to go over this. How does the small intestine go from this, okay, the shag carpet, where all the absorption takes place? Look, they're falling apart. My villi are falling apart. Okay. What turns this into this? Okay. And actually, you think this is a better carpet. Probably is. But it's not a better gut. You want those villi. Here is, it's not that there's no villi. It's that the villi have changed. It got carpet bombed. How do you like that? How did this get carpet bombed? How does your villi go from a shag carpet to a, what do we call this? A flat carpet. What do you call that? Somebody tell me. Is there a name for like a flat modern carpet? Okay. What happens? Why did this lose Berber, Cheryl? Guys, you guys are so smart. Well, it's a Berber carpet, okay? So we went from shag to Berber. Not Bieber, Berber. Okay? So that's what happened. Here's what I'm telling you. In autism, because remember, I only heard about it in the late 70s, but I want to tell you how often I saw it in my practice, especially after in the 1990s, the year 2000, the last 20 years of my practice, I saw lots of autism. I saw lots of children who were some of them just on the spectrum. But I always explain to the parents, here's what happened to your child. They got leaky gut. They're the canary in the coal mine. It was a perfect storm. And why? Why was there no autism? Or very little. In the 1950s, in the 1960s, in the 1970s, why was there little or no autism? That they didn't even teach me when I was in school what autism was. Why? What's happened? What's happened? And what do we know today compared to what we know then? Here's what we know today. The microbiome. The microbiome. Bacteria. The war on the inside. The war between good and bad and ugly bacteria. Here's what I found in practice without, I can't think of an exception to it. Autistic child, leaky gut, fungal, the invasion of the Third Army, and it got into the bloodstream, toxins. Remember, yeast carries toxins. Fungus wraps around like a snake. It wraps around not only its victim, but it wraps around toxins like mercury, lead, cadmium. And it brings it into the brain. It crosses the blood-brain barrier. And these poor kids never had a chance And even today, here we are in 2023, and the CDC gives us information. They tell us that it's an epidemic. That's an epidemic, my friend. 1 out of 36 kids. But they're not asking why. They're telling us, but they're not asking why. What's happening? What kills that microbiome? Okay? Now we're going to go over that. In my opinion, how did the small intestine get carpet bombed? Mommy to baby. Mommy, baby. Okay? How did it get carpet bombed? Killing the good, the bad, and unfortunately not killing the ugly. The yeast, the fungus that spreads like wildflower and wildfire. Spreads. Loves the brain. Let's go over that. What happens? Why? Ask yourself why. Okay? Now there's different factors, but the number one factor, in my opinion, is the overuse of antibiotics. They carpet bomb. They don't know what, it kills everything. And in 5 days, it kills all your friendly bacteria. They're gonzo. You get an invasion of the Third Army. Fungus. And these kids, right to their brain, through the placenta. And even kids who are given antibiotics in their first, like, I get it. The baby's got an earache. I get it. Who wants an earache? And the baby's screaming, but they don't need an antibiotic. The overuse of antibiotics, number one on the hit parade, in my opinion. Number two, okay? You can write this down. Wendy, you keep notes. The overuse of antibiotics. Okay, I'm giving you my list. Okay? The overuse of antibiotics, in my opinion. We've created leaky gut. It's a pandemic today. Because antibiotics can save your life, but they're very, very dangerous on the flip side of them. And it doesn't happen right away. So, people, I had a bladder infection and I had to take an antibiotic. Okay. And I had a bad throat and I had a lung infection. And antibiotics are wonderful. Except when they're not. 2. Okay? On my list. Mommy. Okay? Mommy. And again, not through her fault. She has a C-section. What does a C-section have to do with this? Okay? I'm showing you the shag carpet again. And today, look, again, please, don't come after me. I'm not a woman. Never had a baby. Men couldn't have babies. We're big babies. Okay? Okay? I remember Rosie I went in the men, they allow you in the, in the birth, when the mommy's having a baby. I went in once and I remember the doctor saying, "You better take care of that guy. It looks like he's going to pass out." Like men are such big babies. We couldn't have a baby. Of course, we don't have the anatomy for it, but it doesn't matter. We couldn't have them anyways. We're big chickens. Women are tough. Okay, but the birth canal, when that baby goes down the birth canal, all of that mucus is full of bacteria, and it's actually very, very, very good for baby. Okay? And look, sometimes you're going to have a C-section. I get it. What they should do is take mommy's mucus and even when they pull that baby out, and wash their face with mucus from mommy. But they didn't get the memo yet. And that makes a huge difference to the baby's microvilli and microbiome. Huge. Okay? Now, here's another one. Tylenol, Advil, baby Tylenol, or mommy taking Advil, Tylenol, non-steroidal, anti-inflammatories. They wipe out your microbiome. You don't even realize it. They cause a dysbiosis, an imbalance. Unreal. And they're showing now, okay? Number 4, they're showing now. And it's interesting because the studies are coming out, just preliminary on the vaccines and how they wipe out the bifidobacteria. Perfect storm, chemicals. Today we're exposed to about 100,000 chemicals, xenoestrogens, and that gets through into the microbiome and causes a dysbiosis. And I think it's a perfect storm for a lot of these poor kids. Yeah. So guys, and I'm going to give you another one, okay? Because I believe this based on my research, clinical research, okay? Like there's research and then there's clinical research, which, might not impress the dudes at a university setting. But I always used to tell people that would listen, I got a lot of experience in practice. So it's not considered university, like research, but it's worth something. Okay? Here's what I found. Mommy. Very low levels of vitamin D. Very low levels of vitamin D. And guys, I know I talk about vitamin D too much. I can't help it. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is so important for everything, from your brain to your toes. And vitamin D, and I always used to tell my ladies, Oh, pregnancy? It won't be on your list of baby vitamins, maternal vitamins, but it ought to be, is vitamin D. Okay? Very, very low in vitamin D with autistic kids. And even the kids are low in vitamin D, is what I noticed. Okay? So that's an important thing, even for the microbiome. Remember, vitamin D, yeah, it's absorbed. Okay, if you get out in the sun, it's absorbed on the skin. But it's synthesized with cholesterol. It's synthesized with cholesterol in your gut. Leaky gut, not so much vitamin D. That's really important. Okay? And I just mentioned the other thing. Cholesterol. People have gotten away since the 1970s. Mommy, she's bought the lie that salad was better for you than steak. Now, I know they both start with S, but only one of them is a vitamin. Vitamin S is steak. Salad is not a vitamin. I'm sorry. But the women of the world, especially in North America, they bought the lie that fat makes you fat. Women did it. They were conned. Women got conned. Salad. That's good for me. It's not good for you, really, and it's not good for baby either. It's certainly not good for baby's brain development. Chicken and salad. Salad and chicken. And they bought it. You don't think I didn't see that? Since the late 70s and 80s. Wow, fat-free, Dr. Martin. I gotta be fat-free. And they bought everything fat-free, from yogurt, and what became the number one on the hit parade for food for women was yogurt in the morning, fat-free yogurt, and salad. Go to the restaurants today. What do women like? Salad. The husband likes the steak. The women like the salad. Ooh. You got conned. That brain of your baby needs fat and cholesterol. And cholesterol is only found in the animal kingdom. You need fat. I love, and that's why I used to tell my pregnant patients, they were never men, by the way. I didn't meet one. Oh, I'm so anti-woke. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just anti-woke. No, but I used to tell them, you want your baby's brain to be full of fat. What? You want your baby's brain to be full of fat. You want your baby's brain to be full of DHA. You want to call your baby fathead. Okay? And I meant it. Oil in the brain. And today, what's happened? What's happened? People eat fat-free. It's insanity. And when they do get oils, they get seed oils. Everything in the middle aisle of the grocery store has got those stupid, and I call them that, automotive products in them. Meant for your car, not for you, nor baby. And babies get full of these seed oils that mommy eats. Canada's gift to the world, canola oil, can oil. It's meant for the car, not for baby. Yikes. Oh, I get excited, guys. I'm sorry. I get excited. I can't help myself. Because when I read statistics out of the CDC, I mean hot off the press, it infuriates me. And the CDC don't make no recommendations. They just give you statistics. They don't make 1 ounce of recommendation. Because they're not looking at why, they're looking at what's happening. Here's what's happening. Autism is on the rise, and you can be sure the big pharma, they're in on it because they want to look for a drug they can give mommy. Infuriating. Infuriating. Okay? Gary said he should have put canola oil in when he had his oil change yesterday in his car. You're right, Gary, you should have, because it works. It's full. I had my oil change last week in my car. And I don't know anything about my car. Okay? I don't. I know where to put the gas in, but I don't know anything else. And the technician goes, sir, what do you want in your car? Standard oil or synthetic? And when he says that, I'm thinking, the only time synthetic oil is good is in your car. Because you don't want synthetic oil, because that's what soy oil is. That's what McDonald's and all of them use to cook their fries and their chicken fingers and whatever else they cook in there. And I'm telling you, that's why today we see a real serious pandemic of, forget viruses. Forget bacteria. Look what's happening, and our poor kids are the canaries in the coal mine. It's sad, my friend. It's sad. So I had a whole protocol. Mommy, you better be taking probiotics. Okay? Before, during, and after. You got to replace that bacteria, man. I would have them on vitamin D. I would have them on high DHA. I said, you want to have a smart baby? You want that baby's brain to develop? Well, you need good oil up there. B12. Eat steak. And if you don't eat enough steak, take B12. Don't worry about the other B vitamins. You make sure you got B12. That was me in my clinical research. Okay. I got excited. Okay, guys, we got a great week lined up. Okay? Everything in the morning, as far as I know. Okay? Okay, guys. We love you and talk to you soon.